Hello, EKN Nation. Welcome to a new episode of the OutLap, our preview podcast of our upcoming EKN Trackside live event. We'll preview the race, the teams, the drivers competing in the current point standings, and all that there is to discuss around the upcoming Challenge of the Americas coming up this weekend at the Phoenix Kart Racing Association in Glendale, Arizona. My name is David Cole, joined by Nate Dean. We'll be doing this podcast without Rob Howden as he is on site at the USF Pro Championships testing at Sebring today and tomorrow before they head into their 2023 season at St. Petersburg for the St. Pete Grand Prix. Exciting time in racing right now. There's a lot going on this weekend. I will be in Phoenix. Nate will be in Charlotte, North Carolina, covering the Cup Karts North America Spring Nationals. And of course, Rob will be down in St. Pete. So let's get into this OutLap episode number 52, February 27th, 2023, presented by Sodi Racing USA. The Sodi brand has found a new home here in the United States. Sodi Racing USA is the new exclusive importer of the Sodi Kart chassis line under the karting distribution banner, led by industry veteran Thierry Germanovich. The French manufacturer Sodi Kart is a leader within the karting industry, offering a wide range of products and services. The Sodi Racing chassis line offers products in classes from mini karts to KZ, all based on years of development and championship seasons around the world. Visit sodi-racing-usa.com to learn more about the Sodi Kart chassis or call 954-634-5111 to become part of the Sodi Racing USA network today. Sodi Kart, the world leader in the karting industry. So Nate, I'm going to be heading to Phoenix Kart Racing Association, Glendale, Arizona, rounds 3 and 4 of the 6-round championship program. That is Challenge of the Americas. Its 16th season of championship, kicking off last month, really this month, because it's still February, in Tucson. And the championship began back in 2008. Nate, you've been to the Phoenix Kart Racing Association facility. Tell us a little about that facility, kind of from your perspective.
You know, I've raced it for the 4-cycle showdown back in 2020 for a 206. It's a lot of fun. I can't imagine shifter cars or any other quicker engine because I was beat after that weekend, but these guys will have their work cut out for them. Just looking at the track map, the one thing I noticed is turn 11 is a lot wider than it seems. That's the penultimate corner. That's going to be a big one for drivers to get right, just with how narrow that is and how much you have the front straight after that. So it should produce some good racing. This direction, I think, is a lot more fun, especially with a Daytona corner going this direction. But it should come to some good racing on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, so it's the clockwise direction in the 3/4 mile, 12-turn circuit. They call it the full track at Phoenix Kart Racing Association, which was established back in 1982, and it's club-owned and run facility. This will be the 13th time the series has visited PKRA, dating back to 2009. This will be our, the 4th straight year, dating back to 2020, which was the last race for Challenge of the Americas that year because COVID just came knocking around the door a couple weeks later. So did you run in the clockwise direction in the full track, or was obviously the showdown shows different? They do different configurations, but did you run this actual configuration?
Yeah, we ran both full track counterclockwise and clockwise for Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, you mentioned turn 11. That's the passing opportunity because it's very unique at Phoenix. They start on the backstretch, which is between turns 9 and 10. 10 is Daytona. And so that's the actual opening corner for the races. So they start kind of 3/4 of a lap in, and turn 11 becomes the second turn of every start, both standing starts and rolling starts. So it becomes, as you said, the penultimate turn coming to the start finish line as well. So turn 11 is probably one of the more important corners in terms of racing. I wouldn't say maybe to have a fast lap. It is a little bit tricky. It's kind of off camber. It's a tighter 180 turn coming off that fast Daytona corner. But, there's a lot of other technical spots when you look at this circuit, including turn 3, turn 8 to get you going down the long straightaway to turn 9 and turn 10. So there's a lot of different unique elements in terms of this, the full track clockwise.
Yeah, for sure. And one element, obviously, whenever you're running in these hotter temperatures, especially with the higher powered karts that I may not have experienced as much, as all the rubber that will get put down and how the track will evolve. That's one thing that I've heard a lot about from Phoenix, just how grippy it will get towards Sunday. But that's going to be of any track in the South. So that will obviously put a little bit of strategery into things. But other than that, it's a very good track for racing. You have a lot of passing opportunities. It flows very, very well. So obviously looking forward to that.
Yeah, correct. It does lay down the rubber. Thankfully the weather is going to be pretty mild compared to Phoenix weather. And especially when we go there, typically for a karting event, only in the mid 60s in terms of high temps, maybe into the 70s by the end of the weekend. So obviously it'll be sunshine, but it won't be, we've been there when it be 90 degrees, if not 100 degrees. And yeah, the rubber gets laid down pretty tough and can be gruesome sometimes for some of the drivers, depending on the conditions. So I don't think we're going to have those type of conditions here this weekend. I think it's going to be, very suitable for the racers to not get beat up, even though the racetrack is very challenging. Nate, kind of just give us a quick rundown of the event schedule so we kind of know what's to come this weekend.
Yeah, so Wednesday and Thursday we'll have run by track unofficial practice. Friday, 5 rounds of practice, that being 3 8-minute sessions, a 12-minute and a 17-minute session. Saturday is when you get into racing. You have obviously your warm-up, qualifying, pre-final, 14 laps for all classes apart from the cadets. They'll be running 11 laps, and then straight into the finals. 20 laps to decide the winner on the day for all the classes, again, apart from cadet, who will be running 16 laps, and the same goes for round 4 on Sunday.
Yeah, so very same format, essentially, from Tucson, including the lap count, same amount of laps, same amount of minutes for practice. So a very carbon copy from the opening 2 rounds at the Musselman Honda Circuit in Tucson, Arizona. So no surprises there, nothing unique. Again, running in the clockwise direction on the 3/4 mile Phoenix Kart Racing Association facility. So with that, we'll head into our first commercial break. And with the second segment, we'll kind of go by the numbers and look at the totals and kind of a class by class breakdown in terms of numbers for this weekend's Challenge of the Americas event. So we'll have that following these commercials.
Ready to step up your game? Joining the Rawlison Performance Group is the obvious choice to take your racing to the next level. Industry-leading driver development is provided by our staff of multi-time national champions, Super Nationals winners, and Team USA members. And at the same time, RPG continues to be a national-level powerhouse race team. Our goal is to help you raise your game and win races. We work with all age groups and are focused on developing those cadet and junior drivers who are ready to take the next step in their racing program. Rawlison Performance Group has set a new standard with our in-house engine program, AVP Engines, headed by Alex Vincent. AVP has become the benchmark in IAME competition. We have the largest OTK inventory that follows our race team, providing trackside parts at all the major events in North America. RPG also offers multilingual support with French, Spanish, and Portuguese-speaking staff. If you want to fight for championships or want to improve your skills and your chances to win, the answer is to call RPG at 503-260-4514. The Rawlison Performance Group. We race to win. CRG is one of the most iconic brands in karting, and we're primed and ready for the 2022 season with new material and a never-ending focus on winning. CRG Nordam is the North American distributor for all CRG products. Based outside of Houston, Texas, CRG Nordam supports CRG dealers across the continent, reaching every corner of North America. The CRG KT5 is our new chassis for tag and shifter racing, and it's been designed specifically for the US market. The KT5 features 30mm construction with a 32mm front loop to increase front grip. CRG's new VEN 13 brake system is cutting-edge technology, with a master cylinder that allows for pressure regulation within the system. Drivers can customize brake pressure to their own requirements to improve feel and to avoid brake lockup. The kart is finished with new KG 507, 508 bodywork that has refined aerodynamics and reduced weight. For cadet drivers, the 2022 CRG Black Mirror is already logging positive results to start the new season. This chassis will be making big waves in 2022. Longtime CRG drivers will be happy to know that the CRG Road Rebel, the standard in quality and performance, is still available. With 4-cycle racing enjoying consistent growth in North America, CRG's FS4 chassis is the ideal choice for racers in Briggs & Stratton competition. From pure racing to karting entertainment, many tracks, both indoor and outdoor, have made the switch to the CRG Centurion rental kart line. 5 different models for both gas-powered or electric engines can fit any track's needs for a new rental kart fleet. CRG Nordam has a full inventory of rental karts available for new and existing facilities. For more information on the CRG product line, head to www.kartcrg.com, and to inquire about a North American dealer near you, please email us at info@kartcrg-nordam.com.
Welcome back to another episode of the EKN OutLap, episode 52. It is February 27, 2023. I'm David Cole, joined by Nate Dean, as we're taking a look at the upcoming Challenge of the Americas event at the Phoenix Kart Racing Association, March 3rd through the 5th. I will be trackside covering the event. Rob Howden will be in St. Pete as he prepares for the opening weekend for the USF Pro Championship program. Nate, you'll be heading to Cup Karts North America Spring Nationals. Are you excited to get out of the cold weather in Minnesota and get to somewhat mild conditions in the Charlotte, North Carolina area?
Yeah, it'll be nice not to have to trudge through snow to get places, but a lot of people signing up for that, a lot of entries for that event. So it should be a very, very good one. I think they hit 300 if I can remember. But
I thought it was 350.
Anyway, I think so. Yeah, they are gaining a ton of traction for that Spring National, so it should be a fun one.
There's been a lot of people sitting, as you said, in the cold, waiting for that opportune moment. And I don't think it was, Jacksonville was where people wanted to go to get away from that. So I think everybody was saving up for Charlotte and get down there in March. So I'm upset I'm missing it, but I'm glad that you're going to be there trackside to be able to provide a little bit of coverage while you're there having fun as well, because it's not an official race weekend, but you will be there giving us some videos, photos, and any other things that you can do there. So excited to see that and follow that on the weekend. I will be in Phoenix again for the Challenge in the Americas this weekend, and by the numbers, very close numbers to what we saw in Tucson earlier this month. Tucson had 120 drivers or entries for the weekend, and we're at 111 pre-entries for this weekend in Phoenix Kart Racing Association. The only drop really that is significant right now is the Rock Shifter Masters division. We had 12 in Tucson, but we're only down to 7 right now in pre-entry. So hoping to see some more drivers enter trackside so we can get into the double digits there. The other really notable negative when you look at the numbers is there is no Rock Shifter Junior entry. Gage Korn was provisionally on there, but he has since moved over to the Junior 100cc category, which is again hitting the 30 mark. We're at 30 drivers right now compared to 32 what we had in Tucson. So maybe a couple more walk-ups and we'll surpass that number. But also in the 30s is the Senior 100cc division at 36, so just one less than what we had in Tucson. So amazing numbers, Nate, for the 100cc categories.
Yeah, absolutely. And kind of sticking with that trend of the 100cc categories being the ones with the most numbers. So that should fare well for some good racing all throughout the pack. And yeah, I mean, pretty much everything staying about the same. Mini Rock and OKN, pretty much all the classes staying a couple carts below or above what they were at last round. So good to see some consistency.
Yeah, and again, we're always good at seeing some walk-ups. We had a number of walk-ups for Tucson, and I would expect the same thing there for Phoenix Kart Racing Association. The OKN, I think I already know 2 that aren't on the entry list, so that's going to hit double digits for sure. We talked about that in our face-to-face show last week, that we had Challenge of America's promoter Andy Saisman on board or on the show, along with Alex Keys, Jesus Vasquez from P1 Engines, and then Seth Nash of Nash Motorsports. So we know we're going to have 10 entries in that category, but right now it's just at 8 because 2 drivers have not entered yet. So it's good to see that that debut class for around the world. Really, the first time we've ever seen OKN competing around the world to now reach the 10-digit driver total. So that's good to see that. And then Mini Rock getting into double digits. So we have 2 more drivers. Actually more than that, because we'll get into who's not going to be there in Phoenix this weekend. So we actually have more drivers in the Mini Rock category. So again, it's almost, we used to have a Cal Speed bump, or we might have a Phoenix bump this year with no longer having the Cal Speed karting facility anymore. So maybe Phoenix will now be that event that kind of bumps up entries with being a little bit closer to Southern California. But again, also we're getting into the month of March, and now people are ready to go racing and get going for the 2023 season. So with that, we'll head into our second commercial break, and we'll start breaking down some of the categories that will be at Challenge of the Americas this weekend. And we'll get into Rock Shifter and Rock Shifter Master after these commercials.
All over the karting world, everyone knows OTK is the gold standard for quality and performance. In the US, OTK USA is the source for all things OTK. From the legendary Tony Kart brand to the race-winning Cosmic and Esprit chassis, and now the new Red Speed and EOS brands, OTK quality is second to none. All 5 brands are winning races and championships across the country in national programs like the Rock Cup USA Florida Winter Tour and the Challenge of the Americas, the SCUSA Pro Tour and Winter Series, and the Pro Kart Challenge, United States Pro Kart Series, and the WKA Manufacturers Cup. And OTK products are also front and center on the podium of club and regional races from coast to coast. To learn more about a specific product line, you can find the OTK USA dealer near you, whether it's Tony Kart, Cosmic, Esprit, Red Speed, or EOS. Visit www.otkusa.com. Specific chassis territories are still available, so kart shops interested in adding a winning component to their product lineups can contact OTK USA directly. For over 20 years, Greg Bell has been building race-winning power for kart racers. One need only look at his team, Leading Edge Motorsports. He's always built engines for his team, and the results have been wins at the biggest races in America, the SCUSA Super Nationals and the Rock Vegas events. The name on this program? Mega Power. This year alone, Bell and Danny Formel teamed up to sweep the Rock Shifter class on the Florida Winter Tour, all on a Mega Power engine. If you want to win shifter kart races, it's time to put Mega Power on your kart. Mega Power specializes in gearbox engines, such as the TMKZ, Rock Shifter, and IME Shifter, but with almost 3 decades of engine building experience, Bell develops winning motors for X30 and Mini Swift and everything in between. The combination of Greg Bell's engine building skills and his chassis tuning knowledge is a potent mixture. Greg's helped catapult many drivers to wins over the years, including Mercedes F1 star George Russell, who won the Supernats 14 in 2011 with Leading Edge Motorsports. Increase your odds of winning at this year's Rock Vegas or Super National events or throughout 2023 by calling Greg Bell today at 209-747-2613 to put Mega Power in your corner.
And welcome back to the EKN OutLap. I am David Cole, joined by Nate Dean, as we are into episode 52, February 27, 2023, previewing the upcoming Challenge of the Americas weekend at the Phoenix Kart Racing Association in Glendale, Arizona, coming up on March 3rd through the 5th. So we're getting into our class breakdowns, and the first category up is the rock shifter category. We had two different winners in the opening weekend in Tucson, Arizona, with Jacob Gulick and Macy Williams. She became the first female driver to win in the category, and Gulick added to his career total, so his second victory in the category. So those two are essentially the drivers to beat going into the weekend. Nate, kind of just give us a breakdown of the points going into this weekend.
Yeah, so Williams on top, but just barely by 10 points over Gulick. That is the fight for the championship at the moment, but still early days. Connor Wick in third, 47 points back. Again, early days, still has a shot with it. Got two third-place finishes on that weekend. In fourth, Ethan Boer.
Yep.
Okay. 71 points back. And then Flynn Lazier in 75 points back in fifth.
Well, we actually won't have two of those drivers, with Connor Wick confirming he will not be trackside this weekend. I contacted him earlier today, so he won't be there. And right now, Flynn Lazier not on the entry list, but he was also a walk-up in Tucson, so possibly another walk-up coming into Phoenix Kart Racing Association. So Wick not in the championship hunt any longer, so that'll move Boer and Lazier, if he is in fact going to be there this weekend, up. So really, again, putting Gulick and Williams in the driver's seat for the championship heading into the weekend. Both of them picking up victories, but Williams getting the extra bonus points in terms of fast laps both days, I believe. So that gave her that 10-point difference in the total, because both of those drivers swept each round. So exciting to see that challenge continue. But we'll also have a couple of new names in there, not really new names, but drivers making their 2023 debut this weekend. Kwan Tandon, he's always been super quick at the challenge, so he'll be racing this weekend, along with Canadian Matthew Taskinen, jumping into the Joey Guion machine that he raced in Tucson. So he'll be driving this in the rock shifter category. Matthew was a former top 3 competitor in the junior division at the challenge a number of years ago. Now he's moved on to racing cars throughout Canada, and now coming back to the Challenge of the Americas, making his rock shifter debut. So that'll be exciting, and could certainly have an impact on the championship. You know, Williams and Gulick were pretty much the class of the field in Tucson, but no doubt Tandon and Taskinen could be right there to kind of throw in the mix. So that, Nate, that'll be pretty interesting to watch, to see if we have a 4-driver battle throughout the weekend for victories.
Yeah, obviously more carts up there, the better to try and battle. Always looks better, sounds better. So obviously we'll see. It's all purely speculation until carts hit the track, but hopefully 4 or more carts up front battling for the win.
Exactly. And that's something we might see as well in the rock shifter master category, with 7 pre-entries right now. We have Jonathan Vitolo coming in as a 2-time winner from Tucson, and he leads the championship over Nick George.
Yeah, 30-point gap to George for Vitolo after taking both wins last time out. Pat Beckley in third.
Yep.
Beckley, 54 points back. Joey Guion, 68 points back. And
I know.
Guion, and then David Jones. I can't screw that one up. 89 points back in fifth.
Yeah, David Jones is a great name. Easy to say and pronounce.
Oh, yeah.
Right now, Jones not on the entry list, along with Guion. As I just said, Matthew Taskinen will be actually racing his machine in Phoenix Kart Racing Association in the rock shifter category. So we got Vitolo, George, Beckley, and as the 3 drivers that are in the championship hunt. But don't count out 3-time defending champion Kevin Woods, who's coming back, making his 2023 debut this weekend, missed the Tucson weekend. So I would expect to see him getting the rust shaken off and be able to battle up front with the 3 drivers that are leading in the championship, along with Bud Grossenbacher, a Arizona driver as well. He's got a lot of experience at Phoenix. We've seen him in the Masters categories a number of different times. I think this might be the first time I see him in the Rock Shifter Master category. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. So it could be a 3 to 4 driver fight up front as well in this category too, despite only having 7 drivers in the field. So excited to see the battles that go on in these 2 categories. And with that, we'll head into our third commercial break, where we'll get into 2 more categories. It'll be the OKN and the Mini Rock category that we'll preview after these commercials.
It all started in 1994 when former successful kart driver Albino Parolin decided to move his passion for karting from the track to his small workshop. That's when Parolin was born. Fast forward 20 years, and Parolin's passion for the sport led to the company rejoining international competitions as a factory team in WSK and CIK FIA races, with the aim of enhancing the research and development process, immediately achieving notable results around Europe, North America, and Asia, becoming the CIK FIA Asia Pacific KZ champion in the same year. Parolin USA is North America's source for Parolin products, and we run a factory team at all of the major Superkarts USA and Rock Cup USA events. The Parolin chassis lineup for 2021 includes the Invader Shifter, the Le Mans Tag single-speed chassis for junior and senior classes, and the 28mm mini kart for the cadet classes. Parolin has been winning races all over the world, and it's on top of the podium in the USA as well, with drivers like Kai Sorensen, Mateus Orjuela, and Alessandro De Tullio. Get on the chassis that's winning. Drive a Parolin. For more information, head to ParolinUSA.com. Top-level production with a focus on a single form of motorsport, karting. This is MG Tires. MG Tires USA, underneath the Vantage Karting Group banner, is the official distributor of the MG Tires brand for the United States. MG Tires are the official spec tire in the US Pro Kart Series, Route 66 Sprint Series, Sunshine State Karting Challenge, and countless clubs across the country. No matter your compound preference, MG Tires USA has you covered. Whether it's the medium SH Red or the soft SM Yellow that you find at many karting events in the US, or the super soft green SS and the intermediate white IZ optional compounds, MG Tires USA has your winning set of rubber in stock. Indoor and outdoor rental facilities can now trust MG Tires with their solution to long-lasting and the best performance with 3 different compounds available through the RL line. For more info about MG Tires USA and its extensive list of dealers near you, check out their website at mgtiresusa.com. MG Tires, for the drivers.
Welcome back to the EKN OutLap episode number 52, February 27th, 2023. I'm David Cole, joined by Nate Dean. We're previewing the Challenge of the Americas coming up this weekend at the Phoenix Kart Racing Association, March 3rd through the 5th. We're into our second group of categories that we're previewing, and up first is the new OKN category. Again, we had our face-to-face discussing this category, this new program, this new engine platform developed by the FIA to kind of be a more of a sportsman category, if not a more affordable category in terms of the top level of karting. We certainly saw that as the lap times in this category were only 0.3 off the shifter time by the end of the weekend in Tucson, Arizona. So Nate, you talked about how you've raced Briggs at Phoenix Kart Racing Association. Well, this will be the first time we see OKN at the PKRA facility. And if it's just as quick as it was in Tucson as it will be in Phoenix, we're going to see some really fast lap times with these machines.
Yeah, and mentioning Briggs, a couple drivers that you guys interviewed and talked to were mentioning how it kind of reminded them of that 206 package, just with how you have to drive it and how it's seems to be a momentum based engine with not a ton of bottom end. But once you get to the higher end, that's when it starts to do shifter kart speeds. So again, Phoenix is a big momentum track too, a lot of low speed corners that lead to long straightaways. So that's most likely going to be key for those out in front. Nash Motorsports kind of holding that front spots as it stands. Jesus Vasquez Jr. winning on Saturday, Blake Nash, his teammate, winning on Sunday. So we'll see if someone can break up that Nash Motorsports dominance as it is. But again, second weekend for this engine package. World will be watching, especially the FIA, but should be some good racing between the entire field.
Exactly. You know, it's the debut. We'll maybe get a third or fourth different winner in the category. Again, as we said, 8 pre-entries for this category. Both Jesus and Blake Nash not entered right now, so they'll be 9 and 10. So we'll get into double digits for that category. The new driver that is joining is Aaron Farhadi, will be a third Nash Motorsports entry, as he was talked about on our face-to-face. So good to see him making the debut. So we'll have everybody back. We'll have Flavio Aquini, Jeremy Cooper, Anthony Freeze, Chase Jones, Alex Keys, Chris Martin, and Dustin Salaveria, all rejoining. And again, we'll look at engines. Right now, it was all TM, so we'll see if some of the drivers are able to work with the Medina that's here and in the hands of some of the drivers. So we'll see if that makes a presence. But as you said, Nate, talking about how it's similar to Briggs, gearing is going to be key, I think, at Phoenix, because you have that tight hairpin leading onto this long straightaway. And that's going to be key because, again, this has a rev limiter and it'll stop running at 15,000 RPM. So it's a matter of finding that happy medium between bottom end speed and reaching how late you get on that chip for the rev limiter. So that's going to be exciting to watch and kind of see how it plays out between these drivers, especially if they're all on the same engine.
Yeah, the entry into turn 8, especially turn 6 and 7, is going to be crucial to get to the left side of the track and be able to keep that momentum through turn 8, which is never easy, no matter what engine package you go through there, because it's such a low speed corner and you have the longest straight coming right after that. So that's obviously going to be key. Gearing should be interesting to see if some people go with the higher end. Some people want to go quicker in the infield. So that should maybe a development or a storyline to follow throughout the weekend. But things always find a way to even themselves out. So it should be interesting to see if that does become a case of low end, the acceleration versus top speed, which one people will prefer.
Yeah, that's something I'm going to keep an eye on for sure throughout the weekend. It wasn't something because of, going into turn 1, everybody was hitting the rev limiter there in Tucson. So, but there you had really 2 long straightaways, the main straight and of course the long back straight. Here, Phoenix, it's really that really long straightaway on the back that kind of separates everybody. So we'll see how that plays out throughout the weekend. Next category we're going to look into is the mini rock division. And again, increase in numbers. We're up to 11 pre-entries with Matt Gutierrez and Gabriel Balog scoring the victories in Tucson, Arizona. Nate, kind of give us a breakdown of the top 7 in the championship points.
Yeah, so Gutierrez and Balog getting the wins last time out. Neither of them on top, though. Jackson Gibson leads points by just 5 points over Balog. And then Luca Papasquio.
Yeah,
Papasquio. Okay. Yeah. He is in third at the moment. He's only 8 points back, so a real tight battle for the top spot there. 18 points back is Gutierrez, and then Brendan Wagner in the 5th spot there. Paxton Romeo in 6th, 29 points back, and then Cam Becker, 49 points back in 7th.
Yeah, so 7 drivers right now separated by only 49 points, which is a very tight point spread in terms of challenging America's championship point standings. The interesting part right now going into the weekend is there are going to be no Jackson Gibson. I did confirm that with him, not on the entry list and not going to be in Phoenix Kart Racing Association. So that basically hands over the championship to Gabriel Balog, the Canadian, who won in his debut weekend in Tucson, going to head into Phoenix as the championship leader with only a 3-point advantage over Luka Papskiewicz. So that's going to be an interesting run. Right now, Matt Gutierrez, also not on the entry list, haven't been able to confirm or deny if he'll be in Phoenix. So we'll have to wait and see. Aside from that, at least 5 of the top 7 going to be in Phoenix, and a really tight championship now with only 44 points separating those top drivers. So heading into the weekend. So obviously with the increase in entries, we have a couple of new names that we'll have to follow and get familiar with on the weekend and see if they're able to battle and be right up there with the front drivers and championship contenders in Phoenix. So, and now we'll head into our final commercial break as we get into the last categories that we'll preview for the Challenge in the Americas in Phoenix this weekend. And we'll have those right after these commercials.
Motor mounts. They keep your engine attached to your chassis, right? The answer is they're much more important than that. Your motor mount is critical in transferring 100% of the power from your engine through to your tires and the racetrack. You need this to get on the podium each and every time you race. Odenthal Racing Products is here for you, providing the best motor mounts on the karting market today, all designed to make sure you're using all the horsepower you pay for. Odenthal Racing Products is a family-owned and operated business with decades of karting experience in providing products with unmatched quality and value for our racing community. The Pro Series mount for 2-cycle engines, which is available in 0, 5, and 8-degree inclinations, provides a rigid structure to help keep vibration to a minimum without adding too much weight to your setup. The 4-cycle Easy Set system is one of the most popular mounts for the Briggs & Stratton 206 power plant. Multiple mounting holes provide the most adjustability depending on your chassis and seat placement. To ensure a tight fit to your chassis, our ORP wedge clamps get the job done, and they feature a number of design updates to provide a lower profile and lighter weight. The clamps are available from 28mm to 32mm in both standard and Euro style sizes. And now, Odenthal has also revolutionized the karting industry with its new Easy GP camera mounting system. Designed to mount anywhere on your chassis with 1 or 2 cameras, the ORP Easy GP camera mount is your solution to capture that onboard winning moment. Head to odenthalracing.com and find a dealer near you. Odenthal Racing Products, proudly made in the USA. Acceleration Kart Racing is your first and only stop on the internet for karts, parts, and the safety gear you need to get you on the track. Visit shopakr.com for a great selection of karting equipment on a user-friendly website. Acceleration Kart Racing has aligned itself with many of the top manufacturers and distributors in the sport to ensure all the latest equipment is available to you, the racer. With over 20 years in business and customer support available 6 days a week, you can be confident about getting the right parts at the right price when you need them. Be sure to visit shopakr.com today or stop by their headquarters in Las Vegas. Make sure to follow Acceleration Kart Racing on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest specials and new arrivals.
Welcome back to the final segment of the EKN OutLap, episode number 52, February 27th, 2023. David Cole being joined by Nate Dean as we look into this weekend's Challenge of the Americas event at the Phoenix Kart Racing Association, rounds 3 and 4 of the championship program. So we'll get into senior 100cc right now, the largest category on the pre-entry list with 36 drivers set to battle in Phoenix. One of them not going to be there is a winner in Tucson, Chase Hand, not going to be in Phoenix. Scheduling conflict is forcing him to have to miss the Phoenix weekend. Liam Lech, the other race winner and the championship leader, will be in Phoenix. So that's a good thing in terms of GFC. So they at least have one of the 2 bullets that they had scoring victories in Tucson on hand in Phoenix. And Lech will go in with a 63-point advantage over G3 Argyros, but Argyros has yet to confirm or deny if he'll be in Phoenix. So right now, Lech has a sizable lead if neither Hand or G3 are able to compete in Phoenix. That leaves Tim Carell 65 points back, with Steven Eisert 75 points back. So Nate, that really shakes up the kind of the championship. Lech, a former champion in the senior 100cc category. Back then, he didn't have to race a lot of competitors. This time, though, it's a full field that'll be gunning for him this weekend.
Yeah, for sure. 65 points this early on in the season. If none of the drivers in between him and Carell show up, so that'll be a good boost for him. In senior, Jesus Vasquez Jr. is always quick, so he might be able to come back and get a good result there, kind of dampen Lech's spirits after the weekend. But GFC taking, like you said, both wins last time out. Obviously, Chase Hand, like you said, not being able to be there. So GFC obviously liking their chassis and the package they have on the 100cc category. So it's going to be hard for the competitors to try and topple them. But again, this is racing. It's a reason we go racing. We'll see at the end of the weekend. Phoenix, bit of a more technical circuit, I'd say, than Musselman Honda, that with Honda being a lot faster, more flowing, a lot more medium to high speed corners with a lot more low to medium here. So that may play into some characteristics of some other chassis. But again, we'll just have to see with all of these karts in senior 100cc. You just never know.
Yeah, as you said, Vasquez is going to make his debut in the senior 100cc category this weekend. So he'll actually be doing double duty, racing both OKN and senior 100cc. So that'll be interesting to watch. Also watch for a lot of the local drivers. Among them is a multi-time winner last year, Oliver Hodgson, who now calls Phoenix Kart Racing Association his home racetrack. So watch for him to be quick this weekend, along with Cooper Auclair. He'll be making his senior debut this weekend in the category. Josh Campbell was among the top drivers in Tucson, now racing at his home track in Phoenix. So again, a number of different local drivers that are going to be probably ones to watch going into the weekend, and could be a spoiler for Liam Lech in his championship bid. So it'll be interesting to kind of watch. Is he going to be racing for wins, or is he going to be racing for that championship? So we'll have to kind of keep an eye on that throughout the weekend. Heading into the next largest category, junior 100cc, we're at 30 drivers in the entry list, with Archer Eversman and Nix Eggleston picking up their first ever career victories in Tucson in this category. And Nate, kind of give us a rundown of the top 5 in points.
Yeah, so junior 100cc, Alexander Gonzalez currently leads by 48 points to Spencer Smith. Gage Korn, in third. I said Eggleston in fourth, and then Eversman down in fifth. So the two winners on the weekend, obviously not having too good of days on the days they didn't win, to be that far back in points for Gomez to have a 48 point lead. I don't know where he so 2 podium finishes for him, both in third, just having the consistency to get himself up there. And I mean, that's what's going to win you championships, is consistency. You can go through an entire season without winning a single race, but you can still be crowned champion at the end.
Yeah, another driver that showed speed throughout the weekend, Keegan Kaminsky. He's sitting 6th in the championship right now. I don't see him on the entry list. I thought I would expect to see him on the entry list, but don't. So we'll have to keep an eye on that if he is indeed a trackside entry. So, but for right now, all top 5 in the championship going to be in Phoenix, competing and continuing that drive to the championship. But again, Korn, the only driver in that top 5 that didn't land at least one podium finish. He was close, actually led in Sunday's main event at one time, but slipped outside the top 3 there. And but still puts himself in the championship chase if he can continue being consistent. And that's what Gonzalez was, picking up 2 third-place finishes on the weekend in Tucson. So we'll again keep an eye on who will be in contention come the happy hour session on Friday. Head into Master 100cc category, and we have 8 pre-entries. And again, everybody chasing Ian Kunchez right now as a 2-time winner, and actual 7 straight victories for him dating back to the start of last year, where he won 5 straight, now winning 2 to begin this year as he skipped round 6 to race in the senior category. And I actually don't see him signed up for senior, so maybe just focusing on Master 100cc this weekend. So we'll have to keep an eye on that if he'll continue running double duty. But Nate, give us a rundown of the top 5.
Yeah, so Contag's currently leading by 32 points over Christopher Mann, Daniel Jones in 3rd, Preston Newberry 4th, Luke Tracy 5th, but a bit of a gap, like you said, to the leader for Mann to try and make up in the rest of the field. Obviously 2 wins for Ian on Saturday and Sunday, so has the momentum going into this second weekend in Phoenix, so it should be interesting to see if the others can catch up, if they can put up more of a fight to him, or if Ian will continue to extend his championship lead.
The wild card in this category is the inclusion of Derek Wang. He was scheduled to race in Tucson, but wasn't able to make it due to some circumstances that kept him away from Tucson. So he'll be making his challenge debut, the 4-time series champion in the Masters Rock category, making his debut in the Masters 100cc division. So it would be exciting to watch and see how that unfolds. And again, as you said, Mann trailing by 32 points in the championship to 2-time winner Ian Kunchez. So, excuse me. So that's our preview for the weekend, the Challenge of the Americas. Make sure to listen live at www.ekartingnews.com/live to follow the action all weekend long. And since Rob will be in St. Pete, we'll have Mike Smith providing the play-by-play call all weekend long. He is the former track manager at the Cal Speed karting facility, now at the K1 circuit as the general manager. So we'll maybe dive into get him to talk a little bit about that on the broadcast throughout the weekend. But you might have been familiar with his voice as he's been part of the broadcast at the Super Nationals over the last 2 years as well. So excited to work with Mike again this weekend. And be sure to follow us on EKN on all our social media platforms, and to follow the hashtags EKN at CODA, hashtag PKRA, and hashtag Let's Rock. So Nate, I'm excited to get to Phoenix, to get to warm up a little bit more again. Have you checked the weather for what Charlotte will be? Are you guys going to get all the stuff that's kind of washing through, because right now Phoenix and California, it's really cold there. They got snow this past weekend. Is it going to avoid the Charlotte area this weekend? Have you even looked at that?
As he frantically opens the weather app on his phone, it looks like in the mornings it will be sweatshirt weather. It looks like it's getting up to the mid 70s towards the end of the day. So that should be very nice after what we've been used to up here in the north. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. A lot of faces coming down from Minnesota, and going to see a few friends while we're down there in North Carolina. So it should be a good weekend for the both of us.
Yeah, excited to see how that weekend unfolds. Excited to see how things shake out in Phoenix as well. So just excited to get Trackside again, something we love to do and something we love to provide for all our readers and viewers across the world. So with that, we'll end our episode 52 of the EKN OutLap. So again, for Nate Dean and myself, David Cole, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you trackside.